Welcome back to the channel, and today we are back in some Path of Exile 2. We are on our Sorceress, who has since graduated to become a Chronomancer. Chronomancer here. So, I've reworked a lot of my characters. I did not realize, I must have missed. I know I skipped it on the witch. I did obtain that coin to do the ascendancy, but I wasn't aware that you could do it already. Oh, for those of you who don't know, I don't really watch a lot of other people's videos and all. Most of the time I watch to see if I'm interested in a game, and if not, then I'd rather play. And besides, everybody's got their own opinion, and sometimes it's more fun to just play it and learn it on your own, unless you really hit a brick wall. But I digress. I switched over from doing frost, which she does have still a lot of her frost, as you see here, to lightning, because I did obtain a very nice through the means of which you pay them money and they give you a random staff. 89% spell damage and +1 to level of lightning skills, so not bad. Really nice for lightning. I reworked a lot of what I could afford, so I did spend all my money again to redo her and the warrior. This is not a video about the warrior, however. So the warrior has graduated also, and so has my mercenary. I believe the mercenary is a gemling legionnaire, and the warrior is a titan, and of course my witch is a blood mage. So we will see how she does against these guys here. I noticed one big failing though. She, just like the witch, is super heavy into the shield, which is it should be as a magic user, right? However, once the shields go down, she has no real defense. And what you might see here in a few seconds, unless my shields kick in, oops, will be she drops really quickly, seeing as that she has no other defenses other than the shield, as well as not much health, which is what I am trying to remedy. So I like to kill this guy first, because he is a really big problem. Actually, I'm not too sure. I guess with her it might not matter too much. With the warrior, it definitely was an issue when I killed the mammoth first. The other dude just stands there and throws patterns on the ground. But the warrior being, well, the warrior with my build having very little ranged, he had a hard time. It just took too long, and he eventually died. But with her, she's got range, so that might not be that terrible. This one's hard too, because I don't recall there being a lot of ads. Oh wow, standing in that is a bad idea. It's one problem I never had with the warrior, since he never really stood way out there. Okay, so I guess in this case, yep, he's going down, so now you get to see what I was referring to. But with her, it might not be that bad. He'll just stand there, do his thing. You just gotta stand out of the circles. But see, as for the warrior, he's doing this, he ain't damaging nothing. But with her, not that bad. It is manageable, and actually with a range, that might be a preferable option. Plus she's got a sort of like a totem that does do damage to him, and that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Of course, my warrior fought this. Actually, all of them fought this without ascending first. She is 24. The warrior was 24. I believe the mercenary was 23, and I believe my blood witch, my witch at the time, chaos witch, she still is chaos, was 25, I think, because I foolishly did not progress the right storyline, and I progressed all the rest of these and went and did that. But that was the Mastodon, and its handler. Actually relatively easy. Now granted, I have not really used, I mean, there is this 30% of damage recouped as life. That probably helped me quite a bit. What I am looking to do, so yes, I did do the spell damage eventually, but first I went up this side for survivability. And now I'm coming across here, so it's faster recharge rate also. And I think I'm going to come across this way and catch these ones here that increase the maximum. And once I have a good amount of shield, which is sad because I'm thinking I want to do armor and shield, so I might have to venture down this side somewhere. Yeah, see right here, take up stuff like this, get my health strong, and maybe not necessarily stun threshold, but I'm thinking I want to go into like these here, more on this tree here, not that one. Life regen would be good. I don't know if recouped life, because if you die in the one hit, it won't matter about the recoup because you died. But definitely like here, maybe. I don't know what the ultimate, this looks like it's a shield based, like a carried shield based skill tree. But I'll have to look through this and see if I can find some armor and energy shield, because especially if there's gonna be times where like say in those trials especially, you lose your shield. If she loses her shield, she's pretty much SOL, because she has no armor. Other than her shield, she's got 0 armor and very little evasion, so she's just gonna take hits, and as you can see here, she can't take hits. But I did find this little caveat with this lightning spell here, which I'll show you in just a second. It does wonders. I'd say she's on the range, kind of on the range of what the my Chaos Witch was doing as far as speed. Now again, these aren't tutorials, these are just my experiences. Oops, wrong button. So by no means copy me, but if you're similar and you just want to play the game and experience it without people telling you what the meta is, definitely it's fun that way. Sometimes it's good to progress, and if I do hit a brick wall, that might be something I might do later. I did that in Path of Exile 1. So this is what I'm referring to here. This is Arc, and I put these two on here. So this basically doubles it up, possibly, when you cast it. And this does more damage, however it does not crit. And the regular is this, and it does have a +1 from my staff. So if I can find another staff that does a plus, or specifically lightning damage, which seems to be the better option. So this does spell damage, so if I could double that up, because I've seen that. So it increases spell damage and it increases lightning damage or whatever. So it'll be a very rare chance, I think, because I don't know of a way you can actually choose what you get. So if I can get one that has all three, which I know some attribute, or some of these, I forget what these are called. Some prefixes are exclusive to each other, which means if you get a spell damage and a lightning damage increase, you probably can't get a +1 level of lightning spells. I'm wrong. Actually, that's a suffix. So, because I know in Path of Exile 1, certain prefixes are locked out if you choose other prefixes. And it looks like actually here, there are 3 slots there. So, there are three tier 2s that were applied here. Two of which were spell damage. Going back to what I was saying, so I guess I can't get it plus 89. Or maybe I can. No, I can't. 64 looks like it's going to be the highest I would have got. Maybe. I could be reading that wrong. But that might be... Anyway, what I'm trying to say is those two spell damage slots there, right here, are two different attributes. So one of these would be the lightning and one of these would be the spell. That's what I'm basically trying to say there. So it wouldn't be plus 89. So it might have been 31 to lightning and 58 to spell. And again, the difference is spell damage is all things other than your basic attack, which might be a lightning bolt, as this staff would provide. Anything spell based that you have to have a gem crystal. Well, that's not a good example because it does have a gem crystal when you use the staff. Actually, no, it doesn't. It comes from the staff. Anyway, like these things, these are the spell. I guess anything that you use a uncut spell gem for would be a spell. But anyway, what I'm basically saying is I'm hoping I can find one that will do that. But I mean, what I was worried about was, see how this lightning is down here? That means I can probably get that. And I could get a lightning and a spell. Although, having double spell might be better, because spell applies to all, I think. And lightning only applies to lightning. So, this could be more versatile than a lightning and spell. Short of this, of course. Unless I could get one that says +1 level to all spell skills, which I have seen before. So if I can get one that's more generic, then that might actually work out pretty good, because then I could use it for anything. Let's see if there's a boss up here. If not, that we'll call that the video. This video is just meant to showcase the awesome stopping power of Arc with those two supports on there. I mean, like these guys with the shield, it did take a couple seconds for... Okay, so the problem with my Blood Mage is that it takes a bit for her to get going. And aiming is quite difficult when they're fast-moving mobs, combined with the... let's call it predictiveness of the game deciding what you want to aim at. Sometimes it's hard to outline them as your target. So for those of you who are not familiar, if you mouse your mouse near one of these guys here, they outline in red. I believe that's a thing you got to turn on, but basically what that does is the game is predicting what you are trying to aim at. And I cannot carry anymore. We're good with that, I guess. So if you mouse over near an enemy and it is not the enemy you're aiming at, the game will think you are aiming at whatever it thinks you're aiming at. Hence missing. So if I were to shoot this off and it wasn't highlighted, the game will pick what I am aiming at. And even if they are clustered together, sometimes the game picks the wrong one. Well, yeah, I guess that is accurate. Because if there's 3 mobs close together and you're trying your best to, short of doing this and clicking on them, and even at that, it's a kind of an angled shot. So if they're overlapping, foreground and background, sometimes the game picks the wrong one that you're aiming at. And especially if it's a line of sight attack, like a Chaos Bolt or a Energy Siphon, or yeah, I think it was Energy Siphon. One of those, or even this Lightning Bolt, it'll hit the guy in front first and miss the one that you target. And for those of you not familiar, the way I play my Blood Mage is I contagion them, which spreads... If they die before contagion ends, they spread whatever was on that mob to mobs in the area, all mobs in the area, which can be huge if you're fighting large amounts of small mobs like mosquitoes, as in towards the end of Act 2. but it does take a little bit for them to die, and it does take a little bit for them to spread. So if you accidentally kill them before you hit them with the contagions, like this would be a perfect example. If I killed that first guy and I targeted that guy first guy perfectly, all of these guys would have contagion plus energy drain. And energy drain does, if I'm using the wrong term, but I think it was energy drain. It's not siphon or the one that takes mana. No, that was rubbish. It's basically a bolt that does chaos damage over time. It does pair with contagion. But if you miss it, then you gotta keep going until you can actually hit both of them, because contagion by itself does very little damage at the level that my blood mage is at. We'll be right back. Anyway, yeah, so that's that. I kind of like how it's going right now. Level 14 staff. I am currently level 24, so the staff is 10 levels old. It seems worthy enough to waste some resources on. I don't know how much they're going to wipe, if it's a full wipe or not, but I'm not gonna. I want to experience it all in case they do wipe it, just to see what I really want to do when the game does become more permanent. But even this yellow here, I'm sure the witch is going to have a lot of synergies. She is really excellent at clearing trash mobs. Oh, got stuck for something. She's also really excellent at clearing a lot of mobs. Not just, oops. As you see there, once the shields are gone though, my sorceress is not very efficient. And that was just a meager yellow. But both of those energy shield users have that slight issue at the moment, I've noticed. Unlike the warrior, who has a lot of armor, but the problem the warrior had was in the trial, I wonder if these guys all have a weakness against lightning. Sorry, side note. Maybe next act they may not. Anyway, the problem with the warrior was the amount of honor you get seems to be based off of, and again, it may have been said, I don't read that stuff. But yeah, he had very little honor. So if you haven't done a ascendancy trial yet, the honor, or at least I don't know, the first one at least, I don't know about the next ones. I'm sure they're all gonna be sort of similar, but you have a set amount of honor that seems to be, of the three that I've run, seems to be based off of your health and your shields. What am I shooting that for? So if you don't have a lot of health and you rely heavily on your armor, and you are basically a glass cannon warrior, you won't necessarily die, because you can use mana pots in there, right? So you take a hit, you replenish it. But what does take a hit is your honor. Every time you get hit, from what it seems, whether it's shields or not. So even if you do have a little bit of shields, energy shield on your warrior, it seems like like my witch did take loss just from the hits, but she seemed like she did okay. I mean, she was ranged after all, so she was able to stay out of the damage, and I was able to dodge out of most things. But the honor does take into effect your armor, your shield, your energy shield. So where my witch had about 800, well, maybe not 800, 700 something maybe. Of course, not knowing anything, just running into it as it was, she had about 800. As I got wise about that, I started stacking that better, which is what allowed my warrior to succeed, because I believe my warrior only had 300 health, so which only gave me 300 honor. 300 honor. Although he take very little damage, and he wasn't on the verge of dying, the honor that doesn't get replaced unless you have certain events that happen on in the rooms that you do, you lose. It's automatic loss. So oftentimes the warrior would get to maybe room 2 or 3, and because you gotta clear elites, and the only way you can clear an elite is by attacking it, he took hits, but he didn't get close to death. But what doesn't get replenished in that fight or that room, and not every room for that matter has honor replenishment at the end of it. The honor never gets replenished, so he would lose because his honor would run out. Which I haven't played PoE 1 for a very long time, but I do recall that being a problem also. I can't remember what specifically was the mechanic, but it was a very, if I remember correctly, it was a very similar mechanic to that, where it wasn't just a matter of, hey, I can survive forever. You did have there were some other mechanics that were happening that just because you had a super tanky character, you didn't want to just stroll through and just eat up the hits because you can take it. Again, I don't remember exactly what that was, but I do remember it was a very painstaking thing, and in some classes it were a lot harder to succeed at those trials than others. I was a much different player at that age, and until this day, I still don't appreciate paying attention to a lot of these mechanics that I probably should with the amount of gaming I play, but I don't. I like to experience, learn, and experiment with, and sometimes learn for myself and sometimes not learn. But that's gonna be the video before I rant on some more. As I was speaking though, hopefully you were able to enjoy some of what this Chronomancer, well, again, she doesn't have a lot of the skills of a Chronomancer, except for that recouped option, which may or may not be helping me. Just a little comparison for you about what does more. See, that doesn't do as much, but it does hit a nice array of mobs there. Ooh. There we go, skill gem. Oh, we level 2. See, so that does that, but then, most of them die. Here we go. Nice example here. Lots of them. So that can be useful in a nice spread of them, because it's not junk when there's a lot. This is definitely better when it's concentrated effect. Takes out just about 1.5. Oh, here, we'll do this one, and then we'll call it. And we can always drop down that, which does increase or reduce their resistances to lightning. This is a little more random, that's why too. But it does bounce. It changes to whatever it hits next. It does do reduced damage, and it doesn't. It's not as much, but there's a lot of mobs around because this only changed twice, I believe. And I do like how it has a good stopping power. Let's get that point on, and then we'll call it. So right now we're climbing this tree here, which increases the recharge rate. I'm thinking the faster I can put my shields back up, the better. And I believe there's some more up here somewhere around there. And then there's definitely some more up here. And then once we're up here, if I'm still liking the lightning, we're going to go up this tree here. And I think there's some more over here too. Yeah, so we'll probably hit this up in this area here. And I don't think mana's a big problem at the moment. Yeah, we'll have to see, because I think there's, spell damage here. So I probably want to hit up a little bit more shield. There's not a lot of health, and I don't know if this recoup works that great. But, whoops, did I click the right one? Yeah, I think I did. Oops. Go away. There we go. But that's going to be the video. Hope you found this entertaining. And we'll catch you on the next one. I'll probably make another video before New Year's. My weekend is coming up tomorrow. So I'll probably put out a couple videos, and hope you enjoy it. If not, have a good one, and we'll see you on the next one.